Good morning, and thanks for joining us on FRHSTV at Home. I'm Olivia Ciotti.
And I'm Megan McElhaney. We're excited to be here with you during our first feature show of the school year.
On Wednesdays, we will bring you a show full of feature interviews and stories that we can't fit into our regular daily news broadcast.
We are so happy you are joining us today. Let's get started with the show.
For those students who are in person during QRT, the school will begin using the flex time system for passes to and from teachers. Assistant Principal Ted Benning explains a little more about this software.
Hello, senior high school students. Happy October. Hopefully the first month of school went as planned for one and all. Quick update regarding the Flex Time Manager system. If you're unfamiliar with the Flex Time Manager system, in short, it is to help make the QRT time and transitions among the QRT time between teachers for you as students much more efficient and effective. We had this system in place the last couple years for those of you who are upperclassmen and have been in the building during that time. For those of you who are freshmen and or new to the district and the building, no worries. It's easy. The only thing you need to keep in mind is if you're not assigned to your home QRT because you need to see a different teacher, your teacher will sign you up. He or she will get you to that respective location via signing you into Flex Time Manager. You will receive an email notification, and then you just report directly to that location during the respective QRT A, B, and or C time frame for which the teacher has assigned you to be in that designated classroom. If you are just to report to your home QRT, there's nothing else you need to do, nothing you need to worry about. Please know it's a very simple, straightforward, but actively monitored process. So please, if you are not assigned to a non-home QRT location during any given time, that includes your designated lunchtime or thereafter or before during QRT, please make sure you are not trying to bend the rules. You will notice it right away. That time for Flex Time Manager will begin next Monday for the blue cohort. That is October 12th. For the gold cohort, please anticipate that starting on October 14th. The reason for the 12th and the 14th for the blue and the gold group respectively is because you need to be physically in the building. If you're not planning to be physically in the building, then your teacher will work out something with you online. So again, hopefully we will be on the same page in the short term and long term. And hopefully this is a great month overall for one and all. Those are all the updates that I have for this time. Hopefully you have a great day, a great week. Take care, stay well. We are FR.
Schools all over Western Pennsylvania have opened up in a variety of ways during the COVID-19 pandemic. Many schools are using online learning to supplement the in-class contact with teachers. Recently, Franklin Regional has been using a new learning platform called Schoology, which allows students and teachers to communicate and hold virtual class meetings via Zoom. Although students are not in class 5 days a week, at the high school, students are able to connect with teachers either online or in class by using these virtual classroom meetings. Recently, our own Braden O'Brien has had a chance to sit down with Principal Ron Suvak to ask about the challenges in transitioning back to school.
How much more do you have to communicate with the student/parent population post-COVID-19 than before COVID-19?
Braden, first of all, good morning. Thanks for having me. And I don't know how much more it is. You know, we at the high school, our teachers, and certainly myself and those of us in the office have always tried to be open and communicative with our students and families. Just the number of times that guidance and plans changed since the onset of the pandemic last March throughout the summer and planning on return to school and then through the return to school process. There's just been a need to communicate more frequently because things are changing rapidly. And it's been a challenge, but hopefully hopefully folks feel like they know where we are right now and where we're hoping to go.
That's definitely true. What were the challenges in accomplishing social distancing while playing the school year?
Well, I tell people all the time, Braden, I like school so much, I went back to school to spend the rest of my life in a school, and then I went back to school to be able to be in charge of the school. All of the teachers here like school so much that they went to school to spend the rest of their life in school. So we want every kid in school all the time. Those of us that work in schools love schools. That being said, the global pandemic is real. And number one, we want to keep people safe and healthy. So we could only welcome, as you know, a portion of our students while following the guidelines associated with social distancing. Our goal is to have as many of our kids in school, as I said, as possible, have as many of the activities proceed for our students as possible. But we need to do so with health, safety, and welfare as always, but especially during this time being first.
What were the major steps to prepare the staff for the school year?
I'm so proud. I am so proud of our teaching staff and the efforts that they have put in. They have always kept students first, and they've always worked their tails off, and that's never been more true this year. They are really, really, really attempting to implement an entirely new instructional model. I would say the challenges are twofold. One, it's procedural things, health, safety, welfare, masking, social distancing, cleaning supplies and desks, and those types of things. Those are important. But on the instructional end, nobody's ever done this before. Our teachers are working to engage students sitting in front of them, engage students who are learning virtually part of the time, and engage students learning virtually all of the time simultaneously, and to deliver instruction in a model that quite frankly has never been done before. I'm really proud of their efforts, and they're going to continue to get better. It's my job to continue to support them in their efforts, try to look for ways to continue to give them time and additional training, but couldn't be prouder of the work that they are doing, attempting to deliver Franklin Regional curriculum to all of our students.
Very interesting answer. How do you think the students who do online courses will fare compared to the students who do the hybrid model?
Our goal would be that whether a student is learning virtually part of the time or all of the time, that they receive the same level of instruction and the same level of engagement. I would say whether we were fully brick and mortar at this time last year, whether a student is hybrid this year or whether a student is fully online, the number one variable there is the level that the student engages in the instruction that the teachers are providing. I am 100% confident that our staff is going to bust their tail to deliver curriculum, to design meaningful, engaging lessons, and to continue to work to support students and on behalf of the students. But at the end of the day, as I tell Jordan all the time, I can't pick up the pencil for you. I can't type on the keyboard for you. So whether he's sitting here on Thursdays and Fridays or he's learning virtually Monday through Wednesday at home, it's up to him to engage. If our students do their part, I'm sure our teachers will do theirs. Fortunately, we have great teachers and great kids.
Thank you. You've been great today. And that's all the questions we have for today.
Okay, Braden, thank you for the opportunity. Have a great day. Go Panthers.
Thank you, Mr. Subak. Students returning to school may have noticed the changes to the building procedures. Hallways are marked with arrows for which directions to walk, stairways are marked with up or down only directions, and everyone has to wear a face covering at all times. One big change students may see is the water fountains. Currently, all water fountains are shut down to help reduce contamination risks. However, the high school did implement some water bottle filling stations that students are taking advantage of. Our own Anthony DeFilippo recently talked with Maintenance Director Jim Heck to find out more about the installation process.
My first question is, what went into the planning for the installation of these filling stations?
Well, actually, a couple of things. They've become more popular, particularly around athletic areas, and a bunch of other school districts. So we had already thought about using them. Now, when the pandemic came in, we started getting different guidance from CDC and health departments, and one of them was not to use regular water fountains. So we anticipated this coming for the fall, and therefore, when we were coming back the way we came back, uh, we ordered a whole lot of conversion kits, and that's generally the background. And we got them in time, but barely.
Okay, why did you choose the specific locations that you did in the high school for the stations?
It's a combination of two things in reverse order. We have different makes, models, and manufacturers of these items. Not every manufacturer made a conversion. If you look at them close, we added on to the top of old machines. Otherwise, we would have had to tear out, cut holes in the block in the wall, an awful lot of retrofit work. So one, I had to pick a space that had a water fountain that I could actually get a piece that could fit on top. And there's still a couple of other manufacturers that I'm still waiting for pieces from. Secondly, the first areas we tried to aim for were near the cafeteria because it's convenient while people were having lunch to fill their bottles. The other main area was near the athletic areas because they normally go through a lot of water to begin with. Bigger school at the high school, we just also picked some more remote locations just so students didn't all have to aim for the core of the building.
Okay, and are there any plans to put any more in any other spots in the school?
Right now, the only ones that we intend to add throughout the school district are, I think there's about 4 or 5 that I still have in order, and none of them are going into high school, I don't believe. There are ones that are different manufacturers that weren't available yet. For now, the high school is where we have plans, but if this continues or if it's the direction to go, we will certainly consider more.
Okay, you kind of just answered my my other question, but do you know if there's any intention of keeping these for the long-term future, maybe in the next year or years after that?
Oh, we certainly won't take them back out. It seems to be the way the world's going, even without the pandemic. So we'll certainly keep all the ones we have, depending on long-term plans for the high school and the middle school. We may convert more of them, or the board may decide to go in a more aggressive direction with potential remodeling or renovations.
Okay, and lastly, why do you think these stations are important for kids in the school district?
Well, mostly it's just a function of trying to keep minimize touching, as opposed to with the normal water fountain where you push the button down. We call that a bubbler. You have hand-to-hand contact, and typically a student might get a drink of water, wipe their mouth. Saying this just was an attempt with the pandemic to try to minimize the amount of cross-contamination. But again, students and people are carrying a lot more water bottles just in general now. So even if we find an end to the pandemic, it's still a good idea.
Thank you very much for answering some questions for me today.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Online learning has created an unusual situation for the art department this year when it comes to physical artwork. For many years, students at Franklin Regional create art pieces that are displayed for the school for others to enjoy. In order to gather more art pieces for the display, the art teachers are requesting that students submit any 2D or 3D artwork that you may have completed in the past that you would agree to having displayed. You do not have to be enrolled in art class to participate. This can be work that you did over the summer or even last year during school. If you wish to submit a work of art for display, please contact Ms. Mozina or Ms. DeSantis for details. Virtual reality is becoming increasingly popular in the gaming world. Our own Ethan Kerr gives us a look at the few games that you can try out with your VR goggles.
VR, or virtual reality, has been becoming more popular ever since it came out. If you walk by someone in VR swinging their arms, you may think they're crazy. I can tell you from my own personal experience that they're having a blast. My two favorite games for VR is Beat Saber and Transpose. Beat Saber is a rhythm-based game where you slice blocks with the beat of the music. You cut according to the arrows on the blocks. There's many different songs that you can play, but you can also download custom songs. Most levels have 5 difficulties, ranging from easy to expert plus. Even if you can't hop into the hardest song instantly, there's plenty of fun levels to play. There's new tips and tricks to learn with each difficulty, and there's a leaderboard for those of you who are competitive. 98% of Google users enjoyed this game. This game costs $30. My favorite game is Transpose. Transpose is a 3-dimensional puzzle game. The unique part about this game is you control time. You create echoes or old U's which save your previous actions. You can have 2 echoes or upwards of 6 plus echoes depending on the difficulty of the level. Some levels require you to be upside down while another U is facing right side up. Your mission is to get the energy cube and place it in the energy slot. I've spent 3.5 hours playing so far and I'm halfway through. Sometimes the best way to beat a level is to wait a day or two. I've done that once and figured out how to beat a level I was stuck on. 97% of players enjoy it on Steam. This game costs $27. Those are my 2 favorite games. VR will forever change the entertainment and gaming industry.
The FR sports teams are doing really well this fall. Our girls golf team won their first section title since 2003. The boys and girls soccer teams are both having unbelievable seasons. The volleyball team remains undefeated, and the girls tennis team is headed for Whippeals as well. I recently had a chance to talk to FRHSTV about the tennis team and the season so far. I'm here with my friend FRHSTV. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to speak with me.
Thanks for having me, Megan. I'm happy to be here.
Now let's begin the interview. So I first want to begin with some background information. So when did you begin playing tennis?
I began playing tennis around the age of 10 in private lessons and playing leisurely. Then when I was a freshman, I joined the FR girls tennis team.
When did you begin practice?
Tryouts started August 18th and lasted that full week, but those 5 days were considered the first week of the season.
And what new guidelines have to be followed when practicing with other teammates?
Everyone arrives and leaves in a mask, and our equipment is placed 6 feet apart, and we can't share any rackets or anything like that. Also, before entering the courts, we are allowed to take off our masks, and we must hand sanitize.
How many matches have been played so far this season, both at home and away?
So far, varsity has played 5 matches. I believe 2 of them have been at home and 3 have been travel.
How well has the team adapted to new regulations that have been put in place?
We've been strict about not sharing equipment and following all the guidelines, so it's not much of a hassle.
What precautions are being taken at matches?
When traveling, all teammates must sit in alternating seats, and we have to wear masks once we get there and social distance while we watch our teammates. Same goes for spectators. They are social distance and must wear a mask.
Can family members or friends come and watch a match? If so, are masks and social distancing required?
Yes, spectators are allowed to come, and as I mentioned before, everyone must social distance and wear a mask.
And for the last question today, what has been the biggest challenge for you since returning back to practices and matches?
Well, the school courts were closed for about 4 months, so from March to about July, I didn't have any practice, so I lost those 4 months, so it's been pretty hard to gain my technique and strategies again, but through team practices and matches, we've been slowly regaining that to work towards a better season.
Thank you for meeting with me virtually today. Now let's head back to the show.
Thanks for joining us today.
We will bring you another feature episode next Wednesday at 10:18. See you then.
Have a great day, Panthers.